You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now face the feline facts. The majority of domesticated cats now spend 24/7 indoors. Does that mean cats are agoraphobics? Afraid to venture outside? Of course not. But sometimes in our well-meaning intentions to keep them safe from outside dangers like cars and dogs, what are we doing to our cats' mental and physical well-being? Can it be possible? Can we make the indoor life a marvelous place for our cats? Here, with a resounding yes, is the man arguably credited around the world for enriching our homes for our feline friends. Please give pause and applause to our renowned veterinarian friend, the remarkable Dr. Tony Buffington. Hey, welcome to the show, Dr. Tony.
Marvelous introduction. Thank you.
What, cat got your tongue? What's up?
And you're right. I completely agree with you that cats can thrive indoors. It's just, and it's not that hard to do. It's just thinking about their lives from their point of view for a few moments.
That's right. So as he just said, out of the mouth of the good doctor, he's going to offer us listeners specific tips and tricks to make your indoor living for your cats feel like, feline heaven on earth. Now, we're going to find out more, but we got to take this quick cat nap. I'm just kidding. We're going to take a quick commercial break so you can sit, stay, groom, whatever you like. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest is truly cat's best friend, Dr. Tony Buffington. Now, he just retired from the faculty at Ohio State, but he is far from retiring from his crusade to enrich the lives of indoor cats. And he does it in many, many ways. He's got a new must-get ebook. It's called Cat Mastery. He also has an accompanying iTunes U-course on all things cats. You know, Tony, I'm so glad you could be on our show. You know, I like the fact that you are very much respected in your research about all things feline, but you got a little playful side, too. Tell our listeners about the new license plate that's on your car now that you're now in California.
Yeah, my license plate says Buff Cat on it. And it was a gift from my daughter because I was telling her that I wanted Cat Buff, but I was sure it was gone and couldn't get it and was whining about that. And she looked at me and said, well, then, Dad, just get Buff Cat. And then she went out and got it for me.
You also have a sticker on the car, too. What's that read?
Yeah, it's right below the license plate, and it says, purr more, hiss less. So,
you know, I think the world's wars would end if we did that mantra. Don't you think, if we followed that advice?
Oh, I think so. And I've decided the next phase of my career is just going to be as an enrichment evangelist for cats and people and anybody else who's interested.
That word evangelist is a big one because we had Guy Kawasaki on. He's one of the big boys from Apple, and he calls himself an evangelist. I think you're onto something. Pass the catnip instead of praise the Lord and pass the catnip. I don't know. There's something going on there. Well, let's get into it. In your book, Cat Mastery, and we're going to tell our listeners how they can get their paws on it later in the show, you start right off, and I love this purposeful phrase. You talk about the plight of the pampered cat. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think what I was trying to get across to people is people have busy lives. They have a cat in their life. Some people, because they believe it's true, that the less demanding pet cat's kind of adults, and so they're independent enough to take care of themselves. And so people tend to assume that the cat's doing completely fine without really thinking about, well, they could be doing fine, but they're a lot like a zoo animal because, like I tell my students, they're locked up in a cage called somebody's house.
There you go.
Anytime you confine an animal, they are much more attuned to the narrow surroundings, and the more responsibility we have to take a few minutes to say, well, since we've asserted the authority to confine them, we accept the responsibility to confine them in as rich a way as possible. And I try to convince people that not only will it be better off for the cat, but during that process of making sure that they're in an enriched environment, you're going to learn so much more about your cat that you're going to enjoy its company so much more that you're going to have a completely new pet.
Oh, I think so. In fact, you even have an acronym in your book for C plus A equal T. All right, here comes your algebra question. Can you solve that formula?
Exactly. And so what it means is care, which is the C part, and that's both veterinarian and owner care, plus attention, which is the unique providence of the owners, equals thriving, and I would say on the part of the cat and the owner, because it's the relationship that we're trying to build on both sides.
Now, I have an acronym for cat. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
He's like, really? I got to. Yeah, you're sitting down, and she's a darn host. I got to put up with her. I say that cats put the C in candid, the A in attitude, the T in tenacious, and the S in so what? And I think as long as, and then I put dogs are the D in drool, the O in obey, the G in goofy, and the S in seconds, please. And that's how I view cats and dogs. Am I close to the mark?
Well, there's a lot of variability in dogs, but as a gross generalization.
Yes, I love gross. We got to be gross. Yes.
Exactly. I think people tend to get cats because they can take care of themselves, and they tend to get, and they want that kind of a relationship, and they tend to get dogs because they want to take care of something.
There you go. But that's not always the case.
I don't even make any value judgment about that. Both of them are just fine. They're different.
Well, living with cats and dogs all my life, and I'm laughing because in my studio right now I have Casey, the pet safety cat, the orange tabby, in here with dogs, 2 and my sister's 3. So we have the sensational 6, Dr. Tony, and they're all, I channeled them to the hush puppy, hush kitty mode. That doesn't mean they're going to be like that the rest of the episode, but I'm happy because right now Casey is on a 2-tiered cat tree. He's facing the window. The doggies are on comfortable doggy beds. I'm hoping I'm doing the Dr. Tony Buffington enrichment plan right here during our episode.
Sounds good so far. Yeah.
I think I hear Casey purring. I think he wants to be a Facebook pal of yours, but he has no thumb. So
those are those of us who are all thumbs. So. And actually, you bring up an important point because the way you tell if the animal's enriched is by watching the animal.
Okay.
One of the things that lots of people, including people who do research on environmental enrichment, is that the outcome variable, the way you tell if you're doing things right, is to watch the behavior of the animal. Just putting a few toys around the house could work, but that's not enrichment. Enrichment is creating a situation where the animal is exploring its environment and playing with its toys and doing all the, and for cats, scratching and climbing and doing all the species typical things, all the things cats do.
So give me an example. So instead of running out and getting a bunch of toys and sprinkling them on your living room rug, for the indoor cat, give us a couple of tips that would really pump up the capital E in enrichment.
Okay, well, the place I like to start is with a food puzzle. And
okay.
I'm going to make a lot of suggestions here, fully realizing that nothing works for everybody.
Right.
Something can work for everybody. And so when I'm talking to clients and I say food puzzle, I'll go to the computer screen and do an internet search on food puzzle, cat, and then just click the images so that they can see that there's hundreds of kinds of food puzzles. There's ones that move, there's ones that stay still, there's ones that you can spend a lot of money for, there's ones you can make yourself for free. And so, and I don't know what they're going to like. Sometimes cats like things that roll around, so one that moves might be good. Sometimes cats like to reach under the couch for stuff, so maybe a static one that they have to reach for. And so I tell owners that here's the menu of possibilities based on what you know from observing your cat. Hint, hint, please observe your cat.
Yes.
Which one do you think they're going to like? Because whatever the owner likes and the cat likes is what's going to create the most positive environment, and that's real enrichment.
Yeah, I got it. The food puzzles. Wow, come on, Doc. All I want to do is put some food in a bowl. Why is it so important to have them hunt for their food if they're living in a townhouse, a condo, or a spacious McMansion?
80% of animals' lives in the wild are engaged in food gathering behavior.
Okay.
After food, sex, and air, everything else is just extra. And
food, wait a minute, that's a new rock chant. Food, sex, and air. I think there's a new rock song there.
There you go. And,
Gosh.
And I mean, since we neuter them all and we're not going to cut off their air supply, about all they have to think about is food.
Yep.
And so, as I said when we started out, we've created a confinement situation so we can go ask the zoo vet, so how do you enrich your environment? And you talk to any good zoo vet at any great zoo, and they will say, we make the animals work for food, which is what we all are doing all day, every day anyway. So that's not rocket science. It's just obvious. It's so obvious that we tend to miss it. And it's not just the muscular work of moving around. It's the mental work of figuring out where the puzzle is, how to push it to get food out, all of those kinds of things. It's just like some of us are getting older now and they're saying, well, you need to learn a new language or do the crossword puzzle to keep the brain stimulated.
Yeah. Or the new one, the new one is the adult coloring books. Have you seen those?
Yes, that's right. I just saw that this weekend. In fact, this last weekend was National Coloring Book Day or something like that.
Oh.
Anyway, so it's really as much the mental stimulation and the figuring out the puzzle that we know as animals is one of our basic behaviors, is one of the things animals do is seek information.
Good. I like that. And, what I've found is I get, hammered with a lot of companies want me to test products. So just on the opposite scales, and folks, I am not being compensated by any of these companies, but my cat, Casey, there's a thing called a Petsy Cam, P-E-T-Z-I. You can actually do it on your iPad or your phone as an app, and you can actually speak, see, hear, and commands and to release a treat from this little device when you're miles from home. And Casey at first was like, uh-oh, where's Arden? She's disappeared, but there's a treat that popped out. Then there's these little things that Purina has that pull and play. It looks like this little wobbly little creature. You put treats inside it, and then you somehow weave this stringy treat that goes in the ear holes. And honest to gosh, I'm laughing at Casey because at first he was like, I don't get it. So I had to swat it. And now he's like, I think he's going for the Guinness Book of Speed Records. So I just literally am seeing like smoke coming out of his ears, but I'm like a proud little cat parent. Is that okay? I'm seeing him do a puzzle without, I don't know. So I'm trying to heed the good advice of Dr. Tony.
Oh, no, absolutely. And there's so many devices. I think what you were just saying is that you found something that you and your cat liked, and that's the goal.
There you go.
And
okay.
So there's one that I just have had some experience with, and I'm the same way. I'm not getting compensated by anyone, but what's called a Slim Cat ball, and what's it called?
Slim Cat ball?
Slim Cat ball.
Okay.
And then there's another company that has one that's called the Exerciser, and the Slim Cat ball is a really lightweight thing, and because most cat prey weighs about 30 grams or about an ounce, so you don't want something that's real heavy. And you can adjust how hard it is to get the food out. The Exerciser's a little heavier, but it's weighted, so it wobbles around, so it's a little less likely to roll under the couch and the like. And if your cat likes moving toys, and
there you go.
some of the things that we've learned about these. So anyway, so I'm a nutritionist by training, and so I like to use restaurant and food analogies. And so what I've just done with you so far is I've played the waiter. I've given you a bunch of ideas about what you might want to pick off the menu. But you got to pick it because I can't know what you want. Once you pick it, then I'll give you a specific set of instructions on how to implement it for your cat.
Good. I like that. Yeah, I think that's... I would give you a better than a 20% tip if you were my waiter.
There you go, see? Because the waiter gives you the menu, but then the cook follows a very specific set of instructions to make sure that it comes out the way you want it.
There you go. We're speaking with Dr. Tony Buffington. Yes, that same guy from Ohio State who's now living the life in California. He has a new ebook out. It's called Cat Mastery. We're going to talk a little bit about that, how you can get it, and a little bit about the thing he has on iTunes. It's got this whole program. It's kind of cool. You got to help me out here, Dr. Tony. It's iTunes University U. I'm not really sure what that is. But we're going to...
You can just look on the internet for iTunes University, and we'll talk about it, yeah.
All right, so we're going to pay for the show. So everybody, give a little scratch under the chin to your cat. Do that little finger rub across their cheeks. Just wink at them with soft eyes, and we'll be back right after this commercial break.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Calling all pet product manufacturers and pet experts. Let the public relations and marketing professionals at Whitegate PR get you featured in the news. I'm Dana Humphrey at Whitegate PR, and we have been specializing in pet product PR for over 10 years and can get your brand featured in the media, from TV to radio to print to blogs. You can find out more at www.whitegatepr.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life
PetLifeRadio.com.
Radio.
Hey, this is Catherine Heigl, and you are listening to Miss Arden Moore on Oh Behave on Pet Life Radio. Tune in for more fantastic ideas and tips for your dogs and cats and pets.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore, and we are getting catty for a great cause. We have the amazing possum, can I say it, Dr. Tony Buffington. Yes, he's the same dude, has been championing the cause of indoor cats for, more than 9 lives for sure. And he has an ebook out called Cat Mastery. Let's talk about how people can get their paws on Cat Mastery, which I've done on my iPad, and talk about this iTunes U course.
Okay, so you can just go to the iTunes store and the iBook is there. And the thing about iBooks is that it allows a lot more interaction with the reader, which is one of the reasons I thought it'd be interesting to try. But then there's also a companion iTunes U, which is iTunes University, which you can just Google as well. Or you can go to the front page of the Ingo Pet Initiative and there's a link that's direct to that. But the iTunes University is a self-paced study course. It has all the information in the book, and all the forms and all of the recipes, if you will, for enrichment that we've used over the years. It's free. People can go in and work through it at their own pace. There's suggested readings and some activities. So there's forms in there so people can actually get some help when they're watching their cat. What should I be watching for? And when my cat's doing these things, does that mean he's enriched or not? Those sorts of things. So it's really my effort to create master cat owners, by which I mean people that when they look at their cat, they have some idea why it's doing what it's doing.
And you're probably trying to create CEOs, cats extraordinaire. There you go. You can make the cat the boss of the house with the CEO and make these folks the masters. I think there's a win-win there, because cats are, they own the house anyway, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, that's why I did it, because I was trying to make the relationship as good as it could possibly be. It's both sides. We got to do stuff for the cat. We got to do stuff for ourselves. And the better we do with both of them, the more likely everybody's going to be healthier.
let's talk about some things that maybe people don't suspect that are really stressing our cats out inside. The indoor cat can't lodge a complaint on Facebook or call somebody, but sometimes they're freaking out by some of the stuff we're doing. Can you give us a few things from the cat perspective that maybe we need to pay a little more attention to, that it is causing stress?
Well, sure. The relationship between the environment and health isn't linear, because you can have poor health, the environment doesn't have enough stimulation, and if it's got too much stimulation.
Gotcha.
And the challenge really is figuring out which it is, which is not a difficult challenge. But if a cat doesn't have anything to play with, can't climb, can't scratch, can't interact with anything, and the owner is gone all the time, that's a barren environment.
Gotcha.
In contrast, if the cat's living in an environment with two other cats, a couple of dogs, 3 kids, grandma, and a couple who have an unstable schedule, then the cat needs a place to hide. So just some basic things. Just to think about the essential resources of cats, which are food, water, and elimination. Well, we could talk a lot about all of them, but I think one of the things that people miss is that cats are both a predator and a prey species. And so they're most vulnerable when they're eating, drinking, eliminating, resting. And so in addition to what you feed the cat, making sure if you're feeding from a bowl that it's in a safe place where the cat's the bowl's not next to the refrigerator or the washing machine that's going to come on and scare the cat while it's eating. The litter box isn't somewhere where the dog or another cat can trap the cat in with the litter box. If you have multiple cats, and we see this all the time in the clinic, you have 3 cats and people know that they should have a litter box for each cat, and some people even know plus an extra one. And so they'll have 4 litter boxes, but they're lined right up next to each other, which from the cat's point, that's one litter box.
Yeah, that's like us going to those porta potties at an outdoor rock concert. No one really likes that, whether you're a cat or a person.
And imagine if you could see between them.
Thank you.
Exactly. As soon as you put it in those terms, it's like, no, I don't think so. And so just little things like that. And the other thing people do is that cats, because they're a predator and a prey species, and because they're a hunter of small prey, so they hunt by themselves. And again, this is where another area where having a little bit of a nutrition background is interesting, is that social behavior came in some measure from hunting and protection behavior. So we've got solitary predators like tigers and domestic cats, and we've got group predators like dogs and people. And then we've also got group prey, like horses and cows and pigs and sheep and all the rest of them. And so you see, in all of those species that I've listed, the only outlier is the cat, which is a solitary hunter. And so if you're a solitary hunter, you don't need to develop all of the group communication strategies that you need if you're a group hunter.
There you go.
And so what happens is that what you find in group hunters or group prey is that exerting one individual's will over another one is a common way of changing behavior. And so people, and like I tell my students, you can yell at your dog or yell at your horse or yell at your sweetie, and they got some idea what you mean by that. But you yell at your cat, and the cat just thinks you're trying to kill it.
Or they give you the paw. Really.
They throw something at it. Because they don't understand that you're just trying to get their attention. What they know is that you're one of their predators. You're 12 times bigger than they are, and you sound like you want them for lunch.
Wow. Okay.
And so what happens? So sometimes they become they always become defensive. So sometimes what do? Flee, hide, displace behavior, try to do something different. And sometimes if you get close enough to them, they'll let you know that they don't want you that close, not because they don't like you, but because they think you're going to kill them.
Gotcha. I'm so glad that Casey doesn't think I'm going to kill him. I think I'm very fortunate. We have a good bond, and I think part of it. He's going to classrooms full of kids, and he's purring and blowing raspberries on his belly.
Yeah. If everybody had a relationship with their cat like you did, I could go do something else.
No, I want to keep you employed, but my wish.
But I think this is a full employment act.
Yeah, I do think
There's
you're right.
Always stuff to do.
Yeah, I do hope one day that Casey, the pet safety cat, can meet the great Dr. Tony Buffington. He may not show it outwardly, his excitement, but trust me, I know he's doing a feline Snoopy dance inside. He's just that kind of guy.
I look forward to that.
Hey, tell us again how we can learn more about you before we bid adieu. Talk a little bit about how to get your paws on Cat Mastery, and tell us a little bit about that website with the indoor cat.
For many years, we had a website called the Indoor Cat Initiative. And then 3 or 4 years ago, we were at Ohio State, we were fortunate to get a board-certified behaviorist there. And, of course, she's also interested in other species. And so it's now the Indoor Pet Initiative, and we're branching out into dogs and horses and rabbits and other species as we get the chance. But if people just do an internet search for indoorpet.osu.edu, all one, that's Indoor Pet's all one word.
Okay.
It'll pop right up.
Is it Indoor Pet or pets, plural or singular?
Singular.
Okay, indoorpet.osu.edu.
That's it. Just on the front page, there's 3 panels that switch around, and there's 2 on cats, and if people have cats and dogs, the boarded behaviorist, Dr. Megan Herron, was part of a book the American College of Animal Behavior did on decoding your dog, so that's also available. And then the website has information for pet owners, for veterinarians, a variety of resources, and then if you want to make a behavior appointment, you can also do that there.
The Cat Mastery iBook is very inexpensive, and you even have short videos. So, hey, folks, you're going to get to see the real Dr. Tony on a video. So it's not that much. I love it. Every day I've been reading it. I've been doing that between my adult coloring book and reading another chapter by you.
Thank you very much.
Trying to have a balanced, enriched indoor life, you know. But how do we get the Cat Mastery? Tell us how to do that.
Yeah, you can get it directly through the website, or you can go to iTunes and you just click on the Cat Mastery iBook icon. Yeah, it takes you to the iTunes store, and you can download it onto an iPad, an iPhone, or a Mac for $4.99, and that money goes to support the website.
Oh, that's really nice. Well, before we bid adieu, is there one catty remark you want to leave with us, our listeners?
I think if I could say one thing to people about their cats, it would be to just relax and enjoy them and just watch what they're doing and realize that when they're doing that, that's what cats do. And if you want them to do it in a different place, if there's detailed descriptions of how to do it in the book about moving where cats are scratching, if you want them to scratch a post instead of the couch, but also to consider that while cats can't respond to threats and force, they are absolutely trainable and they respond to positive reinforcement. And just to finish up on your point when you started out, what a wonderful world it would be if we all tried to change our own and others' behavior through positive rather than negative means.
So purr more, hiss less.
Purr more, hiss less. That's it.
All right. We've been delighted to have the great Dr. Tony Buffington as our special guest today here on Oh Behave on Pet Life Radio. And at this time, yes, I'm going to say it, I want to give a shout out to my producer, the one and only, the wizard of, wait for it, the Wizard of Paws, the one and only executive producer, Mark Winter. Woo! For all the shows on Pet Life Radio. And I want you guys to be cool with your cats, your dogs. Check out Cat Mastery. Hey, here's a fun class you can take on iTunes to learn more about how you can bring out the best in your dog and cat and other critters. And until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave!
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.